what sucks? There's not enough time to read all the books I want to read. Hello and welcome back to Alexandria Loves Books. Bookmas edition. Today I'm excited because I am going to be sharing with you my 2026 TBR, 26 books that I want to read in 2026. That's going to take some time to get used to. 2026. Let's get right on into it because this is going to be a little bit of a long chatty video. I would like to say that my goals for 2026 is to get this TBR down, and I truly am overwhelmed with how many books are on my physical TBR. One of my goals this year is to get it down to 30 books. I think that's a little overachiever of me to want. I don't think I'm actually gonna be able to do that, but I'm gonna try. A way that I'm using my 2026 TBR to help me with that is every single book on this TBR is on my physical TBR. I already own it. And last thing before we get into the actual books, I want to get through some series. I'm gonna only let myself buy new releases that I'm truly so hyped for, or the next book in the series that I'm in the middle of, because I really want to get my series down because I'm in the middle of like 20. And that's also overwhelming. So that is why some books, like the first book, is the last book in series. Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer. This is the last book in the Twilight saga. She's a chunk. This is the same story as Twilight, but told in Edward's POV. Hi, Brilly. Hi. Hi, Bebes. Okay, yeah, you can sit right there. This book is Twilight, but told in Edward's perspective, and Edward is an overthinker. He thinks a lot. He doesn't have time to sleep, and he's thinking other people's thoughts. So this is a long, chunky book, but I'm really excited to get back into this because I love the Twilight saga. I'm really hoping she doesn't come in here with a toy. I don't got time to play or business right now. Some Kind of Perfect by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is a thick book, but it's so floppy. This is the 10th book in the Addicted / Calloway series. I'm only 2 books in, but I really want to focus on this series and try to read like a book a month from this series. So to kind of motivate me to stay on track with that, I put the last book in the series. I love these characters. So good. The Found Family, I love it. I've already read the Like Us series, which is a spin-off of their kids. And then that brings us to the next book, Burn Bright. This is the 3rd series / second spin-off series from the Addicted series. So this series, the Cobalt Empire, also follows their kids. Between 3 couples, there's a lot of kids. They're all adults now. And so the Like Us series was purely just them falling in love with their bodyguards. This continues the love stories of their kids, and I'm so excited. This one follows Ben Cobalt. I gotta go. Pearl is asking to go potty. She rang the bells, so I'm gonna go take her out and I'll be right back, and hopefully we can get through this a little more smoothly without so many distractions. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, I put this on because there's only 1 book out in the series so far. There's 3 separate series. The first series is 10 books long. The second one is 13 books long. Who knows how long this series will be, and they're chunky books, so I don't want to get overwhelmed with it. I want to be on top of it. Also, can we please just talk about how gorgeous this entire book is? The spine, the sprayed edges, there's like, I don't know the words, but these like butterflies that you can see in the light. It is so gorgeous. Now, a lot of these books that I put on this TBR has been on my TBR for a year plus. I had a haul of 83 books at the beginning of 2025. I don't regret that decision. It brought me so much serotonin, and I've always had so many books to pick from to read this past year, which has been awesome, but that has caused me to have an overwhelming TBR of over 100 books. There's so many books I still own that I have not read from that haul, and so I need to start reading them. One of them being Say You Swear by Meagan Brandy. All I know is that this is like a college romance. I think she was in love with like her brother's best friend or something, and then he like wasn't interested in her, and I think he plays football or something. His new teammate wants to put her heart back together. I don't know if it's like fully love triangle. I've heard that this book is sad, which I'm like, how is this love triangle-esque college sport romance sad? What's gonna happen? Why is it sad? I'm excited to get to this, hopefully this year. No, not hopefully, I will. I'm going to read every book on this TBR, and then that will take 26 books off my physical TBR. Darn it. Where's the book I'm looking for? See, I have too many books around here. Another book on the TBR for 2026 is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. I've never read a Mariana Zapata book, but I know so many people love her work. I'm a little hesitant just because I know she's known for her slow burns. Like, mega slow burns, and I am not a slow burn girly. So it does make me a little nervous, but I definitely want to try out at least one of her books. I think this is a football romance, and I think she is his assistant. She quits. He's been adored by thousands, but after 2 years, Van has had enough, and then he shows up at her door begging her to come back. I love you, but I cannot have you just distracting me nonstop. My phone storage does not have the space for that. Yeah, really. Are you going to share what books are on your TBR for the new year? This one book has been on my TBR cart since I bought it because I've been wanting to read it for so long and I just haven't had the opportunity. And that is Not in My Book by Katie Holt. This is a debut novel, and don't hate me for what I'm about to say, but I did not like Beach Read when I read it 2-3 years ago. I think if I read it now, I might like it more than I did then because I was at the beginning of my reading journey, but I think this is going to be Beach Read but better. At least for me. They are in this workshop in New York City. They're both writers, and they always are just like bickering and just fighting, and then the professor reaches her breaking point and she allows them to stay in her class on one condition: they must co-write a novel that blends their genres. She's a romance writer and he is a literary fiction writer. It just seems so cute and fun, and I've only heard one person talk about it on BookTok and they loved it, so I'm hoping I will too. Another book that has been on my TBR for even longer than that haul, because I think I bought it way before then. Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin? I don't know how to say her last name. This is a trilogy. This is the first book, and it is about a witch and a witch hunter. Oh, I forgot this was part of the plot. A witch and a witch hunter hyperly. A witch and a witch hunter thrust into holy matrimony. They have to get married for some reason. That ups the stakes. Pearl. Not So Meet Cute by Meghan Quinn. I've had this book on my TBR as well for a long time. I'm gonna stop saying that because I'm gonna say that about every single book. I've only read like seasonal books by her. How My Neighbor Stole Christmas, Till Summer Do Us Part, but I haven't read one of her like not seasonal romances. So this is also a series, interconnected standalones following 3 brothers. Ooh, this is fake fiance trope. And I think he's a billionaire, or he's rich at least. That's all I know. I really enjoy her writing. I know it's not for everyone, but I find it to be humorous and fun and a good time, and I do enjoy her characters and her love stories. Another first book in a fantasy series, Caraval by Stephenie Garber. One tough thing, and another reason why I've been putting off these books specifically, is because a lot of them are the first books in series, and I'm trying to not start series, I'm trying to finish them. I think Caraval is a game, and then the main character is like going after her to help her sister or something. I don't know. That's all I know, and I feel like I've heard a lot of good things about the series overall. Another first book in a series, Pearl, that I need to read, One Dark Window. This is only a duology though. This is a gothic romantasy, and I've heard truly nothing but amazing things. I have not heard one negative review about this book. There's some darkness and a monster in her head or something called the Nightmare, and then she meets this highwayman on the forest road, and then he ends up being the king's nephew who's guilty of high treason. A maiden must unleash the monster within to save her kingdom in this dark, lush, gothic fantasy debut. I'm excited to read this, and it's only a 2-book series, so that is awesome. Another first book in a series, Shatter Me. I've heard some people say that this book is a little too... She's ringing the bells again. I love her, but why does she have to do this now? Okay, take 3. Anyway, Shatter Me. And now it's getting dark out. Anyway, Shatter Me. And this is a YA dystopian romance. Juliet's touch is fatal, and so this like government like locks her up and plans to use her as a weapon. And then I think there's like a love triangle. I've heard some people say that this is too YA for them, which makes me nervous, so I want to read it sooner rather than later. The next book, oh, have I been avoiding it. The Striker by Anna Huang. I love the Twisted series by Anna Huang. I love it so much. It hit so hard. The Kings of Sin series I'm in the middle of right now, and it is not good. But I'm just too far in to not finish the series, which is stupid, but it's the choice I'm making to continue it. And so I've been putting off The Striker because I'm just scared, because her newer releases have not been good in my opinion and my taste, in my book taste. So what if this isn't good? And it's a thick book to not enjoy. And this follows a soccer player and a ballerina We already met Asher Donovan in previous books. He was like a side character. And then Scarlett Dubois is a former prima ballerina whose career was cut short by a tragic accident. Now she's a teacher at a prestigious dance academy, but still haunted by the ghosts of her past. She spends the summer cross-training Asher Donovan, of all people. Ooh, she's his rival sister. It's like the vibes up my alley, but the writing, the storytelling might not be. We also have The Tools of Engagement, or not the, just Tools. Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey. I love Tessa Bailey's books. Her men always know what they want and they go after their women, and I love that in a romance book. It's a trilogy of interconnected standalones. I haven't even read the first book yet. So by putting this on my TBR, I have to read this book and Love Her or Lose Her, the second book, before I can even read this. So basically I put this entire series on my 2026 TBR, but legally I'm only putting Tools of Engagement. Her older brother runs the company, won't take her seriously. When a TV producer gets wind of the castle sibling rivalry, they're invited on Flip Off, a competition to see who can do the best renovation. That's so fun. She wants bragging rights, but she needs a crew, and the only member of her brother's construction team willing to jump ship is Wes Daniels, the new guy in town. However, Wes's Texas drawl and handsome face got under Bethany's skin on day one, and the last thing she needs is some cocky young cowboy in her way. Cowboy? Sign me up. Similarly to my strategy with some of these other books I've picked A False Start by Elsie Silver. This is the last book in the Gold Rush Ranch series. I have only read the first book. Lately, Elsie Silver has been posting TikToks about these couples in these books, and it has made me want to read this series very, very much. I love Elsie Silver, so of course I need to read her backlist. She's my favorite author. Oh, I eat up her books, so I gotta eat up these ones too. Now, number 15 on this list. We have two options because originally I put one book and then I had mental plans to maybe listen to the audiobook in December. And so if I do end up listening to the audiobook in 2025, it doesn't need to be on this list. So I did put a different book in case I actually read it in December. That original book is The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. This is a Christian nonfiction book, and I've heard nothing but great things about this book. How to stay emotionally healthy and spiritually alive in the chaos of the modern world. I need this. I want to listen to the audiobook of this one this year. So if I do that, it won't be on this TBR right now, but if I don't, then it will be. If I do end up reading this in 2025, that means Quicksilver by Callie Hart will be on my 2026 TBR. And honestly, this needs to be on it. I've been putting it off for a while because it's so thick and it scares me. This is a fantasy with fae. That's all I know. And the guy's name is Kingfisher, one word. And I think that's weird, but I don't know. Who am I to judge? I shouldn't judge. So one of these will be on my 2026 TBR. Another nonfiction book, a memoir, Share the Memoir, Part 1. How cool is that? I have the audiobook saved on Everend, I think. I like listening to memoirs. This one is narrated by Cher and Stephenie J. Block. I've not like the biggest Cher fan, but I am a fan, and I enjoy just like her stories. I always love celebrity memoirs. I'm nosy, and they're writing it in a book for me to learn about and find out what happened in their life. So I definitely want to listen to this. Another first book in the series, Beneath the Stars by Emily McIntyre. I don't know the name of this. Oh, here's the name of the series, Sugar Lake series. I don't even remember what this one is about. This is bad. I have an addiction. I have a problem. We could go our entire lives without speaking and still I'd know you in the next one. This just seems so cute. Alina meets Chase when she's 11 years old. After he moves in down the street, immediately she falls, loving him before she even knows what loving is. But becoming best friends with Chase's little sister means that he's off limits, no matter how much their connection screams for something more. As they get older, he decides to give their love a chance, no matter what anyone else thinks. But old habits die hard, and when tragedy strikes, Chase is back to doing what he does best. He disappears, and years pass, leaving Alina with no choice but to pick up her broken pieces and move on. Until one day he's back. Chase is on a mission, determined to right the wrongs of his past, starting with her. Sign me up. I used to have like a bunch of Ali Hazelwood books on my TBR, but I've been working through them the past few months. I did add Mate, so I did add a new one. But one that's been on there for a while, as we already know, Check and Mate. This is a young adult chess romance, and I'm really curious what a young adult book from Ali Hazelwood is like. I've put this off because like the whole chess thing doesn't really interest me, but I've heard many people say like, you don't need to like love chess to read this book, and by the end of it you will love chess. I'm like, okay, sure. This follows Mallory and Nolan. Chess led to the destruction of her family 4 years ago. So her focus is on her mom, her sisters, and the dead-end job that keeps the lights on. Then she agrees to play in one last charity tournament and wipes the board with notorious King Killer Nolan Sawyer, current world champion and reigning bad boy of chess. The bad boy of chess. Oh. His loss to an unknown rookie shocks everyone. What's even more confusing, his desire to cross pawns again. Okay, that sounds fun. Yeah, I want to read that. Next, I have The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This is also a first book in a series. Adopted human daughter of the Nightborn vampire king, Aurea, carved her place in a world designed to kill her. Her only chance to become something more than prey is entering the Kajari, a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. To survive, she's forced to make an alliance with a mysterious rival. Everything about Rain, I don't know how to say his name, is dangerous. He's a ruthless vampire, an efficient killer, an enemy to her father's crown, and her greatest competition. I'm getting so hyped. I know that this book has been on my TBR for a while, but I haven't thought about it pretty much at all. Like, the thought to even find a time to read it has not crossed my brain. But after reading the blurb, I want to read it. You know what sucks? There's not enough time to read all the books I want to read in general. And I think that's really rude that life requires me to work and to... That's pretty much it. That work is just what takes up most of my time. Next we have Collide by Balcabra, another first book in a series. Don't mind that. This is another college hockey romance. You can never go wrong. Well, you can, but you can never go wrong with a hockey college romance, or just hockey romance in general. She's an honor student with ambitious graduate school plans, and he's a jock with only hockey in his mind. But once their worlds collide, their connection is hot enough to melt an ice rink. It seems cliche and like something you read before, but I like reading this stuff, so let's read this one and see if it stands out or just is a fun time. Next up, we have Holding the Reins, the first book in the Silver Pine series by Paisley Hope. This is a cowboy romance. A woman returns to her family's ranch after a broken engagement and finds herself falling for her brother's best friend. Ooh, Nash Carter is the newly retired superstar of the Dallas Stars. He's the hometown hero, local business owner, and notorious bachelor. Unofficial fourth sibling in the Ashby clan. And this is Cecilia C.C. Ashby is our female main character escaping a toxic relationship, which I love that for her. Let's be done with toxic relationships. Haven't you heard? It's embarrassing to have a boyfriend now. And honestly, yeah, it is. It's been years since his days of tormenting Cece with her older brothers Wade and Cole. So when Cece needs a job, he feels drawn to help her. Seems like a book I've read before. Maybe even a few times, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. I'm so excited for this one. Always Mine by Laura Pavlov, the first book in the Honey Mountain series. This one I think is best friends to lovers, small town romance. Perfect for fans of Elsie Silver. That's me. They've been best friends since kindergarten. He always says the only solid thing in his life is our friendship. He's Honey Mountain's favorite player, and I'm what you call a relationship girl, but when I find myself single for the first time in more than a decade, I make Nico an offer he can't refuse. Who better to show me what I've been missing? But now that we've crossed that line, I don't know if friendship is enough for me. Okay, I forgot. This is, I think, friends with benefits, which I don't like. Never mind. I'm excited to give it a try. But this year has been the year of me being over and done with friends with benefits. I'm tired of it. No thanks. I want to see you fall in love, not fall in lust. Thank you very much. This book has been in the back of my TBR cart. It has not even really been an option in the front for so long. Falling for Gage by Mia Sheridan. This is technically the third book in the Archer's Voice series. I don't think it's a series on Goodreads, but they're interconnected standalones. They follow different characters in the same world. Okay, okay. Gage thought he left his days of one-night stands behind him. However, something about the gorgeous cocktail waitress in a town 3 hours away is far too intriguing. Of course. She shows up weeks later in his hometown, pretending to be an art appraiser. Gage is completely blindsided, not to mention still very attracted to the apparent little liar. So yeah, I really liked Gage in the previous book. We don't really see a ton of him, at least from what I remember. I read that book so long ago. But I want to read his story and be kind of done with this little unofficial series. Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. Again, the first book in a series. Shut up. Don't bring it up. I'm the one bringing it up. You're right. I'm sorry. This is a short, under 250 page romantasy, and it's Regency. It's like Bridgerton, the marriage market. And she is half fae, and she has this curse on her that she feels no sense of fear or embarrassment, which leaves her prone to accidental scandal. She hopes to be the quiet, sensible wallflower during the London season, but when Elias Wilder, the handsome, peculiar, and utterly ill-mannered Lord Sorcier, discovers her condition, she is instead drawn into dangerous fairy affairs. It seems really fun. I love that Regency vibe, the Bridgerton vibe mixed with fantasy and fae. It seems like a good time, and it's short, which I love. So I've heard good things about this. I feel like I don't hear many people reading other books in the series. So I don't know if it's like good, but not good enough to commit to. Now the next book is the last book in a series that I'm currently in the middle of, and that is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Because I'm mentioning Harry Potter in a video, I do want to clarify I bought all of them secondhand. As you can see, they're beaten up. When I listen to the audiobook, I listen to an audiobook created by this creator on YouTube. So it's a fan-made audiobook. I do not support the author of this book. No. But I never got to read the series as a kid when it was like, I mean, it's always been popular since it came out, but when it was like mega popular for like my generation, I just wasn't into reading, and I wasn't into reading this. Like even now, I'm not like, it's not my favorite series by any means, but I do enjoy it, and I want to know what the series is because it's so famous and beloved by so many people. And I'm buddy reading it with a friend of mine who has read the series and loves it. If I like don't hold myself accountable, I'm not gonna like finish the series even though I want to. And that's another reason why I really like buddy reading it with my friend, because then they're like, hey, okay, we're reading that now, we're on this book and we're gonna finish it by this month, right? Okay, we've just finished that one. Okay, we'll take a break, sure, but let's get on the next book. And so they're holding me accountable, and I need that because this is a series I want to read, but if I'm just left to my own devices, I am not gonna read it. So all that to say, I want to finish this series in the new year. And lastly, book number 26, or 27 if you count the dual option here. This is the only book I allowed myself to repeat from my 2025 TBR, because I think I have 5 books as of right now that I haven't read on that list. I do want to get to those other 5 books, but I didn't want to have repeats on this TBR. This is the only repeat I allowed. Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh, the first book in the Boys of Tommen series. Of course, I want to read this so bad, but I just don't want to rush through it, and I just haven't had time or a video opportunity to just like sit and relax and read it. So I'm really excited to read this. I've heard it crushes you in the best way possible. He wants to save her. She wants to hide. She's damaged. He's determined. Fate brought them together. Love binds them. I don't even know Johnny and Savannah. I think those are their names. Shannon, not Savannah. Shannon. But I'm already attached to them, and I need to know their story. And I already hurt for her, and I want her to fall in love with the rugby player, Johnny Kavanagh. I don't think this will be too YA for me, just because I feel like I've seen a lot of people in their 20s that love this series. So the only repeat I am allowing on the 2026 TBR, and I'm so excited to read it. Thank you for listening to me chat your ear off for however long this video is. I'm very excited to get to this TBR in the new year. I'm going to try to be really focused, and hopefully I will actually be able to finish it. Thank you for watching. Let me know what is on your TBR for the new year. I hope you are enjoying Bookmas. Make sure you are subscribed with your post notification bell turned on for my videos. That way you don't miss a single Bookmas upload. I'm having so much fun creating this content for you guys. If you want to follow me on the daily, here are my socials, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye!